Barnaby Jones, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, with guest stars Robert Foxworth, Lorraine Stevens, Richard Evans. Special guest star Tyne Daly. Tonight's episode, A Gathering of Thieves.
If there was one born every minute, I could make myself $1 million an hour. Flower calls the bee makes the honey, Irene just smiles, and we all make money.
Now, don't tell me I'm going to be running away with a poet.
Well, I'm full of all kinds of surprises. All of them guaranteed to delight and amaze you. How did we do today?
We did 14 cash sales and 5 earnest money checks.
Okay.
How much longer, Rit?
Well, you think you can stretch your patience another 3 weeks?
It's just that every week goes by, I get more nervous.
Hey, now, you can't play a cool hand when you're nervous, baby. Steady. Keep smiling. We're building our pot here. We're not going to be greedy. I figure we can be real happy on $500,000.
I've never heard of that much money.
Well, you stick with Whit Brewer a little while, Flower. He picks up money like a magnet. Say, take care of paying the caterers, will you, honey? I got to get into town and take care of our silent partner. Keep her happy and silent.
Do you have to take Madge to dinner every night?
No. That's the small town Irene Hopkins talking. You think French Riviera, baby. Okay? Bye-bye.
Mr. Brewer?
Ah, Mr. Meacham, right?
Well, at least you got that straight.
Don't tell me you missed the bus. Well, listen, we'll be glad to drive you into Bryan Pass. You can catch a bus there.
No, I didn't miss the bus. I think I missed the boat.
I don't follow you.
Maybe you better follow me. Right now. Shall we?
Sure enough, customer's always right.
Now, if the customer is always right, as you say, maybe you can tell me why the lot I bought 8 weeks ago, numbered 42L16, is now numbered 32F09. Now, when I bought it, it was lakefront on a hillside, right here. Now it seems to be way back in the boondocks somewhere.
You have your sales contract, Mr. Meacham?
Right here. And it's very clear. Seems to me you've been serving something fishy around here in between courses of barbecued beef.
No such a thing. If there's anything we don't want at Shadow Lake, Mr. Meacham, it's one ripple of unhappiness. Now, I'll tell you what. If there has been a mistake, we'll trade you 2 lots over here on the other side of the lake for the one you bought by mistake.
That sounds an awful lot like a bribe to me, Mr. Brewer.
Mr. Meacham, I'm really hurt that you'd think that of me. It's more than generous.
Too generous and too pat. Just so I don't hurt your feelings any further, I'm going to turn this whole matter over to the state real estate commissioner.
Now, wait just a minute. I'm sure we can take care of this whole thing.
I think you've been swindling people by the busload. And before I'm finished with you, you're going to wish you were on the one that just left.
Oh, Mr. Meacham. Mr. Meacham, now you're just all riled up over some very simple mistake. Now,
Look,
listen.
simple mistakes are what give you away, Brewer. Look, that machinery hasn't moved an inch in the last 8 weeks. It's window dressing. Now, you have no intention of building a lake here, and
Mr. Meacham.
I'm going to prove it. Shadow Lake is just another shady operation, so save your smooth talk for later on. See if it can't help you slip out from behind bars.
Youngsters and puppy dogs. At this age, they all seem like they're made out of rubber bands.
All right, fine. That'll be all girls. Be sure to see Mrs. Porter before you leave. Unfortunately, Mr. Jones, neither my father nor his car were made out of rubber bands. Will you look into this for me?
I made a call to Deputy Jeremy Carter at Bryan Pass after I talked to you. He was very sympathetic, but he said that the accident occurred exactly the way he told you.
I'm not interested in the sympathy of some small-town deputy. I want to know the truth about how my father died.
Well, Miss Meacham, or is it Ms. Meacham?
Miss. At this age, I have no intention of confusing any bachelors.
Well, in order that I don't stay confused, I have to ask you the mandatory and delicate question.
My father did not drive off any cliff in a drunken stupor, Mr. Jones. About the strongest thing he'd ever drink would be a glass of sherry at Christmas or a class reunion. But a fifth of scotch in his house would last for 4 years.
Well, that doesn't sound like a sipper, much less a drinker. But the deputy did say that that is a dangerous stretch of mountain road.
Well, then I'm sure my father was aware of it, Mr. Jones. He was an old-school college professor. His life was like a textbook on caution and self-control. And he drove the same way. He thought Los Angeles to San Francisco was a 3-day trip. This is the most recent picture of him that I have.
You say he'd been up to Bryan Pass several times in the last few weeks?
He'd bought some property near there. Shadow Lake, I think he called it. He was having sketches made of the cabin he was planning on retiring in. He was bubbling like a kid planning his first treehouse.
I think I would have liked your father.
Will you help me?
If the truth will help you, I'll try to find it.
I'm no expert, Mr. Jones, but I've had to haul enough drinking drivers out of Bryan Pass, dead and alive, to know that road is no place for bottle babies.
Mr. Meacham's daughter said he wasn't a drinker.
I know. I talked to her. You know, I'm sure that girl thinks I'm some kind of backwoods boy who got my badge by sending in box tops.
You appear to me to be wearing it very well. Still, she sounded pretty convincing.
Well, they say it's an age when fathers don't know what their daughters are doing, and vice versa, Mr. Jones. I tell you, the booze flows pretty free out of those weekend Shadow Lake barbecues. I found a near-empty bottle of scotch in the car. Now, I didn't have the heart to tell his daughter, but Meacham reeked of it.
Shadow Lake, that's where Mr. Meacham bought some property.
Yeah, it's the best thing to happen to Bryan Pass in about 50 years.
You wouldn't be able to show me where Mr. Meacham's property was?
No, I can't, but Madge Winston should over at the bank. Hey, there she is. Madge? Hold on there, Madge. We were just talking about you. This is Madge Winston. All A's in Bryan Pass High.
Some things a person just can't live down.
And now vice president and escrow officer at Bryan Pass Bank. You don't get jobs like that by winning letters in basketball.
How do you do?
This is Mr. Jones, Barnaby Jones from Los Angeles, Madge. He's a private investigator.
That's the kind of a job you get when you can't get all A's or a letter in basketball.
Mr. Jones is here to investigate the Meacham accident.
Oh, dreadful thing. Dreadful. When Shadow Lake is completed, the county's going to have to widen that road.
Well, I'm going to take a look at it as is, as soon as I get a bite of lunch.
Say, Madge, you ought to know what lot Mr. Meacham bought. The bank is handling the escrows.
Well, I could look it up. Why?
Well, it probably belongs to Mr. Meacham's daughter now, who's a client of mine, and while I'm up here, I thought I'd take a look at her property.
It'd take a little while, and I'm already late for another appointment. Maybe if you could come back.
Well, I'll be around a while.
If you'll excuse me, Jeremy.
That's a bright gal. How come the plain ones get all the brains?
Now, doesn't that sound a little bit like a country boy generalization?
Yeah, I guess so. But you know, there's always an exception that proves a rule. Like Irene Hopkins.
No, you go on ahead. I'll sit on the place this afternoon. Nothing but a few window shoppers anyway. Real gold comes on the buses. Free ride, a free meal. Pick 'em off at the picnic.
Oh, here comes Miss Lonely Hearts. Can't leave you alone, can she?
Now, you gotta take the bitter with the sweet. You think I enjoy having dinner with her every night?
I don't know, do you?
Now, cool it. Our ship's coming in. Now, don't rock the boat. Okay.
Well, I didn't know banker's hours included a romance break in the middle of the day.
Isn't your eye makeup a little heavy, Irene? Or is that why they call this Shadow Lake?
Now, come on, baby. Don't taunt the goose. It's gonna lay our golden egg. You ruffle her feathers.
I suppose that's what she does all day, sit around here preening her feathers for you. I don't like her. She had every boy in school doing a dance.
Well, this is no schoolboy you're talking to, you know.
I hope not. I'm risking an awful lot for you, Whit. I don't want your head turned by some cheap flirt like Irene.
Irene's flirtations are money in the bank. She's the best deal closer I've ever seen. Come on now, you're not gonna be upset by Irene, are you?
Whit, there's a private investigator in town.
Well, send him on out. We're not particular. As long as they put their money on the table.
He's looking into that accident. What's his name?
Meacham?
Yeah.
Well, it's all signed, sealed, and filed away. What's there to look into?
I don't know. But he wants to take a look at Mr. Meacham's lot, and it's one of the ones I changed.
Well, you changed it back to a lakefront like I told you, didn't you?
Yes, of course I did. But honestly, Whit, you've had me juggling papers and holding on to that escrow money week after week. I'm getting worried.
Now, you relax. By the time anybody starts checking, we're going to be sitting on the fantail of our yacht sipping one of those seductive island concoctions.
Oh, here. These are for your signature. I'll pick them up tonight at dinner. Not a bad weekend, I'd say.
Very nice. 4-hour retirement. Most active retirement you ever heard tell.
Whit, you are terrible. I love you now, but I gotta get back and you're gonna mess me all up.
See you at dinner.
I painted it, Mr. Brewer.
Yeah, so I see. Keeping things shipshape, eh, Kurtz?
I thought it would be better in case anybody got nosy.
I don't follow you.
I didn't have to follow you, Mr. Brewer. When I heard you and that Mr. Meacham having words and saw you go after him in that pickup, that liquor bottle, I didn't have to follow you to know what happened.
See here, Kurtz, a lively imagination like that could get you into a lot of trouble.
Don't to worry 1 minute about it, Mr. Brewer. I mean, you promised me I'd be a big man around here when Shadow Lake was finished. Manager, you called it, right?
What are you getting at?
Well, I keep seeing all this money pour in every weekend, and I figure maybe you could pour a little bit of it my way. What do you call it, Mr. Brewer? A few thousand in earnest money?
And Charles Ellison is laying out an 18-hole championship course. The first tee will be right about over here. And we've got stables over on the other side of the lake. We'll have about 13 miles of bridle trails to these hills here.
Smell that air. Not a hydrocarbon in a carload.
It is Shangri-La, Mr. Jones. We just call it Shadow Lake so people can spell it easier.
You paint well, Mr. Brewer.
What?
You're a real artist. The way you paint it, I can almost see it. But I don't think even with a divining rod, you're going to find a lake out there.
Well, Turton Creek flows through these hills year-round. And we've got 4 high-capacity artesian wells on the property. It's simple engineering. And we're going to have a clear water lake like you never wet a line in, Mr. Jones.
Seems like a dream. Too bad Mr. Meacham didn't live long enough to see it come true.
Yeah, tragedy. Makes me sick every time I think about it.
Did you know Mr. Meacham drove his own car up here?
No, not until I heard about what happened. Shame.
Did you see him when he left? Notice what kind of shape he was in?
No, I didn't. He might have had one too many. We always keep the hospitality bar open all day, and sometimes people begin to feel their oats, you know what I mean?
Mr. Meacham drove up here several times in the last few weeks. Must have been quite an attraction for him, even the way it is.
Well, I think Irene Hopkins was part of the scenery he was interested in.
Oh, who is she?
She's a local girl, a sales girl I hired. Very attractive. A lot of men Mr. Meacham's age take a shine to her. You know, harmless little fantasies. I think Meacham's was a little more serious.
You don't say. Is she around? I'd like to talk to her.
No, she's gone into town on business.
That's where I ought to be. Maybe I'll run into her. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Brewer.
Anytime. Come back on pleasanter business sometime, Mr. Jones.
Oh, maybe you could point out Mr. Meacham's lot.
Oh, yeah. Right here. 42L16. Yeah, here it is. Lakefront, nice level lot, near the side of the lake, convenient to everything.
Well, thanks again, Mr. Brewer.
Anytime.
Well, I may run into you one of these days on the bridle path.
I hope so.
Well, you're slipping. I didn't see you get him to sign anything.
He's a private investigator from L.A.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing's the matter. He's been hired to check out that Meacham accident.
Oh, is that all?
I told him Meacham may have had one too many, in case he asks you.
Well, what'd you tell him that for?
And I told him that the reason Meacham came up here every weekend was because he had a crush on you.
Oh, thanks a lot. You think that's the best I can do?
The best way to keep nosy people from asking questions is to give them your own answers first. Right?
I don't understand.
Look, suppose the real reason Meacham was coming up here every week was because he'd begun to catch on to the little shell game we've been playing with those lakefront lots.
You think he was wise to us?
Well, I don't know. But for Joan's sake, I thought it made a lot more sense to say he came up here every week to look at you than at that dusty old lake out there.
Oh, Miss Winston.
Oh, Mr. Jones, how goes the investigation?
Well, I'm kind of a scattergun type of investigator. I let go with a charge of buckshot, then I wander around and see if I hit anything.
I hope you don't break any windows. Is there anything I can do?
Well, as a matter of fact, it might be. Have you seen Irene Hopkins in town this morning? I'd kind of like to talk to her.
Mr. Jones, the less I see of Irene Hopkins, the better I like it. I count it a lovely day if only I don't see her at all.
Oh? I understood she was very popular.
If you value that kind of popularity. Oh, by the way, I looked up the lot number of the Meacham property. 42L16, if you're interested. I believe it's a lakefront.
Yeah, so I understand. Mr. Brewer showed me a map. Did Mr. Meacham pay for that property in full?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, he did. Why?
Well, I wondered whether his daughter had to assume any indebtedness in case she wanted to keep it.
No, it's free and clear once escrow closes.
Oh, escrow hasn't closed yet?
Well, we're attempting to close escrow on most of the properties at the same time. It's construction funding. It's rather complicated.
Yeah, never did understand the banking business. By the time I figured out 4%, everybody had stopped using it.
Oh, you were looking for Irene. There she is. Well, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll spare myself.
Miss Hopkins.
Yes?
I'm Barnaby Jones. Possibly Mr. Brewer spoke to me.
No, he didn't. Are you interested in some property?
Well, no. Right now I'm interested in you.
Well, thank you. That's very flattering.
Just professionally, I'm a private investigator looking into the car accident that took the life of Mr. Meacham. I understand you were well acquainted.
I was very fond of him. I think he felt the same way about me. But that doesn't really matter anymore, does it, Mr. Jones?
I'm sorry. I thought you might be able to help. Did you ever hear of him having a little too much to drink, maybe?
He used to kick up his heels a little bit up here. We had some fun. He said it made him feel as though he were alive. And it killed him. Look, I'm sorry. You'll have to excuse me.
$500. I guess you didn't quite get my message, Mr. Brewer. I said a few thousand.
Right you are, Brad. I figure 10,000 to sort of get you started. There'll be another 9,500 when the cash starts coming in again this weekend.
If that's a stall.
Now, wait a minute. What are you talking about? There's big money involved here, partner. You think I can afford to play games with my future manager? I've got big things in mind for you.
All right. But 9,500 by next Monday, right?
I say it. All right? All right. Oh, hey, listen, people have been making remarks about that machinery sitting in the same place all the time. Why don't you move it further away from the office?
Oh, I'm finished for today. I'll do it tomorrow morning.
No, I got a bunch of callbacks coming in first thing. Look, come on, I'll help you. It'll only take a few minutes. You take the grader, I can't handle that one.
They collect them out here till they get a truckload, and then they haul them away, crush them up, melt them down, and make new cars. Start the whole process over again. That's it.
When they come in like this, it's hard to tell whether it was mechanical failure, driver error, or another car.
Well, I hate to sound hard-headed about it, Mr. Jones, but the one thing that's missing here is a strong smell of liquor. The bottle. It seemed pretty conclusive at the scene of the accident.
Did you do a blood alcohol on him?
Well, with an open bottle on the seat beside him?
Yeah, I know it sounds pretty bad, but somehow I just can't picture it. DMV didn't have a single violation against Meacham. Yeah, we're supposed to believe that he was tooling his car through dangerous mountain roads with one hand on the steering wheel and the other on an open bottle of liquor.
Well, you got a broken taillight there.
Yeah. Kind of plastic. The other one didn't break. You find pieces of this at the scene of the accident?
Well, they would have scattered over a 20-acre area the way this thing went off that cliff.
Yeah, I suppose so.
What do you got there?
Looks like a splinter of wood caught in the back bumper.
Well, there's a lot of brush and small trees out that way. Could have picked it up on the way down.
This came from a board, some kind of a piece of lumber. Got paint on it.
Hey, Mr. Jones!
What do you got?
Oh, I can't be sure. Might be pieces of Meacham's taillight.
Well, by golly. I knew you had the makings of a bird dog, but you're also a very fine retriever. Oughtn't be too hard to see if these fit on Meacham's car.
Is there somebody you know there?
My secretary. She sees to it I never get too far from the paperwork. Hang on to these?
Yeah, you bet.
See you in town.
You doing your road work?
Yep. You do the homework I asked you to?
Yeah, here's a copy of the sales contract. Susan Meacham found it among her father's papers.
Yeah, that's the lot, all right. 42L16 and the date.
And I thought you might want to take a look at this. This is a picture of what her father's place would look like at Shadow Lake. Sad, isn't it, Barnaby? Just when a man is about to see his dream of a lifetime come true.
Well, well, well.
Translation, well, what?
I wonder why Claude Meacham would hire an architect to do a beautiful sketch of a hillside house when the lot he bought is flat as a platter.
I really have no idea, Mr. Jones. Perhaps Mr. Meacham just changed his mind.
No, I don't think so. See the date here? This sketch was drawn up a month after he bought the lot, a week before he died.
Well, maybe Mr. Meacham was a little confused. I understand that he was enchanted with Irene Hopkins.
Oh, where'd you hear that?
I thought it was common knowledge.
His daughter didn't mention it. Deputy Carter didn't say anything about it.
Perhaps I shouldn't have said anything if everyone else is being so discreet. I really don't know what you're getting at, Mr. Jones.
Well, join me in the boat, Miss Winston. Neither do I. When all of a sudden a man who has hardly taken a drink all his life drives his car off a cliff in a drunken stupor, a man whose life has been a model of caution and self-discipline, gets so carried away with a younger woman that he builds a hillside house for a flat lot.
I suppose stranger things have happened, don't you?
Undoubtedly. Only when one egg is broken, you blame the chicken. When they're all broken, you get the feeling that there has been a fox in the hen house. Thank you very much for your time, Miss Winston. I'm going to leave you now to your percentage points and fine print.
Shadow Lake, Brewer speaking. Hey, slow. I'm only listening with one ear, you know.
Darling, I am trying to tell you that this Jones is no fool. In his deliberate, plodding way, he's going to plod right into the middle of our whole little picnic.
Well, what makes you think so, Pat?
Well, he already suspects there's something fishy about the Meacham property. If he keeps on digging and asking questions, he's going to discover the whole fraud.
Huh? Wait a minute, that's a pretty ugly word for just juggling a few lot numbers, Madge.
Oh, what do you call it? And Jones is thinking of uglier words than that. He doesn't think that Meacham's accident was an accident.
Well, maybe it's all for the best.
If you can see a bright side in this wit, I wish you'd tell me.
You and me, love, that's the bright side. We're just gonna move our honeymoon up 3 weeks.
Now? But, darling...
Well, no sense in being greedy. There's gotta be over 400,000 in escrow. That should be enough for a happy married couple to get started on. Like this afternoon. We'll pick up your trousseau on the way.
Well, I don't know if I can be ready that soon.
The money's all there, isn't it? That was the plan. I'll pick you up at your house this afternoon.
What is it?
Could be evidence of a hit-and-run accident. Or it could be a murder weapon. Let's go see.
It looks like a surveyor's stake.
That's what it is. See that surveyor's little metal tag? Somebody's getting awfully careless.
What's that?
How come you started grading in the middle of the site?
All I know is Mr. Brewer called me early this morning and asked me to come out here and grade this area for him. I mean, for $8 an hour, I'd knock down battleships with that thing.
Gonna cost more than $8 an hour to replace these surveyor stakes.
It wasn't me, mister. I didn't do none of that grading. I just started widening here.
You drive that pickup?
No, that's the truck that Brad Kurtz uses.
Who painted the bumper?
Brad, I suppose. He does most of the maintenance work around here.
Where is Brad?
Mr. Brewer said that Brad just took off. Then he wanted me to finish this job. I mean, all I know is...
I know. For $8 an hour, you don't ask questions.
Right.
Oh, Mr. Jones. If I'd known you were interested in some property, I would have shown you around.
Well, I would have liked to look at the lot just north of this stake.
I don't understand.
Neither do I, because this is an official surveyor's stake and not supposed to be moved. Somebody bulldozed right over it.
Well, accidents do happen, I suppose.
Is Mr. Brewer around?
No, he went into the city to talk to the people who are designing the new golf course. He'll be here tomorrow.
So will I. And in the meantime, I'd appreciate it if no one moved that pickup truck. At least until after the sheriff has had a look at it.
Look at that. Acres of green, all planted with big round zeros. Beautiful, beautiful.
We better hurry. They're gonna wonder when I don't get back this afternoon.
Wonder's not the word for it, baby. Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Wait, I've got to pack. That's half an hour. Now make yourself a
I
drink.
said let's go. You don't have to pack for where you're going. One over there to the right. You're gonna drive.
Whit, please, Whit, listen to me. I'll leave Brian Pass. I'll never come back. Nobody has to know.
And get in there.
No.
All right. Have it your way. 6 of one, half dozen the other. You ready to die?
I've always said it, Irene. You are not to be trusted.
Mr. Cool comes up here and thinks he can play us for fools.
City tricks for hick chicks.
We'll drive his car off into the bottom of Calder Lake.
Take a swipe over this way. Would this be Brad Kurtz?
Yeah, it's him, all right. Well, Mr. Brewer hears about this.
I got a pretty strong hunch that Mr. Brewer already knows all about this. You better call Deputy Carter.
That's why I came out here. He's been trying to reach you at the motel for over an hour. He wants you back in town right away.
What about?
Whit Brewer took off with $400,000 in escrow money.
Looks like Mr. Brewer's been a busy, busy man.
He's moving fast. How much start?
A couple hours. Put out an APB, but there's at least half a dozen small airports he could have taken off from. Say in a chartered plane from L.A.
How'd you hear about it?
Madge and Irene. Come on. This is Barnaby Jones from Los Angeles. He's a private investigator. You ladies both know Mr. Jones.
I think you both know Brad Kurtz, too.
What does Brad Kurtz have to do with anything?
Well, if he were alive and here, I think he could tell us some things.
Is Brad Kurtz dead?
We just unearthed his body from a hurry-up grave somebody dug for him out at Shadow Lake.
Good Lord.
You can add that to your damn foolishness.
Oh,
Madge.
shut up, Irene. Just shut up, will you?
All right, both of you cool down now. You want to tear each other's hair out later, that's fine. Right now, I want you to help us. You tell him, Mr. Jones.
Well, I think Brad Kurtz was killed because he knew too much about a so-called accident that happened to Mr. Meacham up on the Canyon Road.
You're saying murder? Oh, what kind of nonsense is that?
Of course, you wouldn't want to believe that Loverboy is guilty of anything.
I'm warning you, Madge.
I think Whit Brewer was running a little shell game with the lots out there at Shadow Lake.
What do you mean, shell game?
I think he was taking the choice ones and selling them over and over, and Meacham caught on to it and threatened to expose him.
But that's absurd. How could he do that?
He could do it. He tricked me.
Well, tricking you is like striking out the pitcher. You thought he had a crush on you. Huh?
Don't.
Madge. Madge, what time did he call you and ask for the money?
A little after 1. He'd been lying to me all the time.
Lying to you how?
Telling me he had to keep all that escrow money on hand. For developmental purposes, he said. He said that he couldn't make the right kind of deal with the construction firms if he couldn't move fast.
He's been moving fast, all right.
He said he had a chance for a deal on the lake and golf course contracts, and he asked me to bring the money.
Of all the dumb.
Well, I didn't know. I was so flustered.
And you just gave it to him?
Well, we'd already closed out escrow. I really didn't think very much about it. But when I gave him the money, I sensed that something was wrong. I got suspicious, and I tried to stop him. And then he threatened to kill me.
Dumb.
No, not so dumb. One murder usually leads to another, and then another. Carry on. I want to step out a minute.
All right, Madge. When he left you, what was the next thing you did?
Has Brewer really flown the coop?
That's the picture I got inside, but out here I got a slightly different picture. Take a look.
Well, the guy just walks in and you give him $400,000.
What do you mean, Barnaby?
When you think that two women who had just been bilked and buncoed by the same man would have a little sisterly compassion for each other, just a little. Here they are going at it hammer and tongue. Methinks the ladies do protest too much.
Well, at least you have a pretty good idea how Meacham was killed and why. If they ever find Brewer.
Betty, the coroner's on his way out to Shadow Lake. Why don't you take a run out there and see what he says? I'll stick around here and see if I can find Brewer between the lines of the statements coming from that office.
Well, we did it.
Hmm?
We did it.
Yeah. You were beautiful.
Yes, I was. Why, Mr. Brewer, a honeymoon girl. I declare, little old me.
You know, we were pretty good playing those boys back in high school. But that looks like chicken feed compared to this.
Cost for a drink, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Something, tall and smooth. You think Meacham wasn't drunk? You think Brewer killed him?
I hope so. The police will never stop looking for it. And when the search fades slowly into the west, Madge and Irene will slink quietly away in shame and in humiliation.
You better slink down that hill after dark and bury him.
Like for 1,000 years.
Oh, ice. Get some ice, huh? I'm so flustered.
Oh, and you do the best fluster I've ever seen.
All right, kittens. Let's have it. Over here. Madge, here. Togetherness. That's what I like to see.
Whit, listen to me. The police are looking for you.
You bet, baby. Everywhere but here. You took care of that all right.
You need a doctor. Let us get your doctor.
Don't make me laugh. It only hurts when I laugh. But I'm gonna get well real fast. As soon as I see that money. Now get it.
It's not here.
You bet it is. And as soon as I kill one of you, the other one's gonna tell me where it is, right?
All right, Whit, all right. It's outside. It's in the garage.
You'll never get away with it.
I've already gotten away with it. Isn't that what you already done for me when you talked to that hick sheriff? Isn't that what you told him? Well, what you gonna tell him now? In fact, I might just decide to stay right here and rest up. And neither one of you can say one word. Move. Come on.
It's inside.
You get it. Don't you put your hands on anything but that money while you're in there, you hear me?
Hold it! I wouldn't do that. You've already tried to kill him once. Once is enough, isn't it, ladies? That's better. I have need of Mr. Brewer alive and well. He may be able to shed a little light on Shadow Lake. Turton Creek flows through these hills year-round. Together with the high-capacity artesian wells on the property, you're going to have a clear water lake like you never wet a line in.
Are you buying or selling?
Little of both.
I can see why Dad loved it. Who knows, maybe I'll go ahead with this cabin. He'd have liked that.
Yeah, I think he might have. Money's all back now and in good hands. As soon as they get the lot straightened out, who knows? Maybe Shadow Lake will finally become a reality.
Isn't it something? With a little bit of patience, Mr. Brewer might have become a wealthy man anyway.
Yeah, I'd say that. Well, there's room here for an 18-hole golf course, and over there, far side of the lake, a stable and miles of bridle paths going up in those hills.
Barnaby.
How much did they say lots were selling for here?
You're kidding.
Barnaby Jones, a Quinn Martin production, starring Buddy Ebsen. Also starring Lee Merriweather, Mark Shera, with guest stars Felton Perry, Dennis Patrick, Vincent Baggetta, Darrell Fetty, with special guest star Sam Wiseman. Tonight's episode, A Ransom in Diamonds.
I don't know why I let you talk me into these things.
Will you relax?
Oh, will you look at the time?
I'm telling you, there's nothing to worry about.
You know, the last time you said that, we walked into a booby trap in Vietnam.
So I made a little mistake. You're the lawyer. Sue me.
You got the money?
Well, no. Such short notice, I was unable to raise $300,000.
Oh, man, straight for the booby traps again.
No, but I did get these. Now, they've been in my family for a number of years. They're worth at least $300,000.
What if the kidnapper won't settle for diamonds?
Oh, but he's already agreed. And I told him that because of my recent heart attack, that you'd be acting as my intermediary. Of course, I didn't tell him that you were a private detective.
Hello? Take it easy, Mr. Christie. Your wife is going to be all right.
I hope so. I don't know what I would do if anything ever happened to Andrea.
Right, bye.
It looks like he's going to dance us around for a little while.
Where?
Another phone booth, 3rd and Temple. Al, I'm heading down 3rd now. Temple coming up in about a half a block.
Mr. Street, do you think it's a good idea for him to follow the kidnappers?
Suppose he decides not to keep up his end of the bargain. We're not dealing with a Boy Scout, Mr. Christie.
There's the phone booth. It's empty.
Now relax. Stan knows what he's doing.
Damn. I can't find a parking space. Thanks, they're already dirty. How about $1 to keep an eye on the hubcaps?
How about your wallet to keep from getting stuck?
Oh, no. I think he's being mugged.
Come on, the wallet.
Did it ever occur to you guys that I might be an undercover cop? You turkeys are under arrest.
How about the watch? Come on, give me the watch.
Hey, what about the briefcase?
There's nothing in there but some sales reports and a tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah, well, Bo, why don't you take that, too? Let's get out of here.
You all right? Yeah, but they got the diamonds.
Oh. No.
Well, what are you gonna tell them? I don't know.
Lots of luck.
Mr. Christie? Your heart, you feel all right?
What are we going to do?
I don't know, but Stan will think of something. I remember once we were in Vietnam, you know, we were pinned down by enemy fire, and Stan came up with a brainstorm that would have made General Patton proud.
Well, did he buy it? It took a little work, but he's gonna give us another 24 hours.
All right, hey, General Patton, Mr. Christie.
Only he upped the ante to 500,000.
500? Where does he expect me to get it?
Well, why don't you sell some stock or take a real estate loan?
Stock? Real estate?
You did tell us you were wealthy.
I lied.
He lied.
But what about those diamonds?
I stole them from the jewelry store I manage.
Oh, well, I'll see you around, Mr. Christie. No, on second thought, you are going to need a lawyer, so why don't you give me a call?
Can't walk out now.
You're absolutely right, sir. I'm driving.
Mr. Street, you could be disbarred for receiving stolen goods.
Receiving, sir? I didn't know those diamonds were stolen, Mr. Christie.
It's my word against yours.
He's got a point, Al.
How did I get myself into this?
Now, we seldom get a call for diamonds of this size or cut. As soon as I opened the drawer, I realized what had happened.
One of the first things we'll need, Mr. Milan, is a list of everyone who had access to the vault.
Well, my secretary has all that information.
I'll get on it. I'd like to talk to your manager.
Well, Mr. Christie's still out to lunch. He called to say he'd be delayed.
Mr. Milan, I understand you wanted to see me.
You're the security guard?
Yes, sir, Dave Harmon.
Have you noticed anything unusual going on? Anyone acting suspiciously?
No, but I don't come back here much. I spend most of my time up front watching the customers.
There's Mr. Christie now. If you need me, Mr. Jones, I'll be in my office calling my partners.
Thank you. Mr. Christie?
Yes?
My name is Barnaby Jones. I was hired by California Meridian Insurance.
Oh, yes, they told me out front what happened. I just can't believe it.
When's the last time you saw the diamonds?
Oh, it's been at least 2 weeks.
Do you know if anyone else has been in that particular drawer in the last, since then?
No, I don't. Why?
Well, it begins to look like an inside job.
Oh, I hope you're wrong.
I'll get it. Very pretty lady.
My wife.
Thank you very much, Mr. Christie.
Barnaby. There's the names and addresses of all the employees.
What's this?
Well, that's a log that the secretary made for them of the phone calls I made for the past 2 weeks.
Good thinking, Jedediah. What's this number with the circle around it?
Oh, that's the secretary's.
Good thinking, Jedediah.
Okay, if you haven't seen 300,000 in diamonds floating around, has anybody tried to fence a $50 watch?
Find out anything?
Yeah. I should have my head examined. Stan, what am I doing? Involved with diamonds and kidnappers and fences?
Trying to help pay the rent on this office.
Well, you have any lead on the muggers?
They weren't local.
Oh, good. Now we know where they're not from.
But I think one was a musician.
How do you figure that?
I saw him blowing on a mouthpiece. A news vendor saw it, too.
I say we should check out jazz clubs. You know, he probably plays in one of them.
That's exactly why I came back here to get you. Lead the way.
I've never been in a jazz club in my life.
You've never been in a jazz club in your life? You? But I thought...
I was studying all the time.
Where's the phone book?
Anybody home?
Business is booming. Get a retainer. Can I help you?
Mr. Donaldson?
Yes. I am Stanley Donaldson.
My name is Barnaby Jones.
The private detective?
Yes. My associate, Jedediah Jones.
What can I do for you?
Are you handling a case for Warren Christie?
This is my attorney, Al Street. Now, who is this Warren Christie?
Well, he's the guy who called you 5 times in the past 2 days.
Oh, that Warren Christie. Right. He is a client. Why?
Are you aware, Mr. Donaldson, that there are $300,000 worth of diamonds missing from a store of which Mr. Christie is the manager?
No kidding.
You mean with all this close contact, you didn't discuss this?
Well, I really shouldn't betray a client's confidence, but since you are also a private eye, I guess it couldn't hurt.
Might even help.
Mr. Christie is having marital problems.
He's having marital problems?
Yes, and he thinks his wife is straying from the nest.
So he hired you to birdwatch?
Right. And that's all there is to it.
Well, Jedediah, looks like that's one more suspect we can scratch off the list. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Very interesting arrangement you have here. You two partners?
No. We share the office in order to save rent.
We're friends, and sometimes we work together.
But we're definitely not partners.
Any trouble?
Didn't even work up a sweat.
Good. What's up? What are you two guys trying to pull?
Pull? What are you talking about?
There's one missing.
Hey! Wait a minute. It must have fallen out, okay?
That's better. Where's our money? There's $1,000 apiece.
So you two get lost. You understand? It worked.
I'm so glad it's over. Now we can go away.
No. Not yet.
You said as soon as we got the diamonds.
Honey, just another day. 24 hours for $500,000 more.
But my husband's not well. He has a bad heart.
Nothing's gonna happen to him. Look, all he has to do is reach in and grab another handful. It's that simple. Then we're on our way. No looking back. Just one more day.
Barnaby, you didn't believe Donaldson's story about Christie either, did you?
No, I may be wrong, Jedediah, but to me, he seemed a little too cooperative to be convincing.
Mm-hmm. Well, doesn't seem to be anybody home. Hi. Excuse me, but you wouldn't know where the Christies are, would you?
I think Warren works late tonight.
What about Mrs. Christie?
Andrea, a funny thing, I haven't seen her for about 3 days. Maybe she's on a trip.
Why do you say that?
Well, because we park right next to each other, and I haven't seen her car. It's kind of handy to have around.
Let's go. Mr. Jones, what are you doing here?
We came over to ask a few more questions about the robbery.
We would have waited, but your wife isn't home.
Well, she's attending a movie.
It's funny because one of your neighbors just told us that she hasn't seen her in a couple of days and that her car's gone, too.
Well, I'm afraid she's mistaken.
Mr. Christie, we know you've been talking to a private investigator about your wife. We know you have marital problems. You want to tell us about them?
Well, very well. Yes, we've had some marital problems, but they're all straightened out now.
Well, where is she?
Well, she's visiting a cousin in Seattle.
When did she leave?
The day before yesterday, she flew up.
What's her cousin's name?
Oh, now, just a minute. What has my wife's cousin got to do with your investigating a theft?
You have a point. Maybe we were a little pushy. Thank you, Mr. Christie.
Like a drink?
Yeah, I'd like one real bad, but I'd also like to see my son graduate USC this spring, so I'll pass.
Rambo, this is my friend Al Street.
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, man, I've been black too long for that jazz. Just slip me 5, will you? That's cool.
He never figured it out anyway.
This cat you're looking for with the bandana headband. What color?
Red with a little design.
Oh, no, man, not the headband, the cat. Was he black, white, in between?
Caucasian.
White. Did he have stringy blondish hair and look like he was allergic to soap?
Smelled like it, too. And like I said before, always working with a mouthpiece.
He's bad news.
What's his name?
Woody March. Plays a pretty good horn, but plays most of his gigs in jail.
Do you know where he lives?
Not a clue. This cat's a real gypsy. Hey, you might try the Musicians Union.
Thanks, Rambo.
Anytime, baby.
Say, what's your son gonna be?
A lawyer.
Whatever happened to boxing is the way out of the ghetto.
Later.
Yeah, baby.
Well, Andrea's car isn't at the airport.
Thank you. According to reservations, she wasn't booked on any flight to Seattle.
That's very interesting.
Well, maybe she changed her mind about flying up there and drove.
Maybe. But nothing changes the fact that Christie hired a private detective after his wife left. Why, if they had already solved their marital problem?
I still don't see the connection between that and the theft.
That's what we have to find out. Let's go get it at.
Hey, you sure this is where the musician union said that Woody picks up his messages? Huh?
His buddy's inside. The one shooting.
Oh.
Come on, let's get him.
No. You get him, and I'll call an ambulance, huh?
An ambulance? For that little punk?
Stan, that little punk has 4 big other punks with him, and they look like they sleep with their motorcycles.
Okay, you come up with something better.
Can't you see we're busy here? Okay, look, he doesn't know me. Huh? You wait here, and I'll go inside and see what I can do, huh? Huh?
Good idea. I haven't had lunch yet.
Yeah? Oh.
How are you? Apple. Good. Banana.
Hey. Get 2 beers. One for my partner.
Hey, Bo. Good news wants to buy you a beer.
I know you? No. We know you.
Yeah? Well, thanks for the beer.
We also know what went down on 3rd and Temple yesterday.
What you talking about?
I'm talking about rocks, diamonds. Sit down.
Where are you?
The organization.
What organization?
That mugging took place in our turf, which means those diamonds belong to us.
I swear I still don't know what you're talking about.
All right, so much for negotiating. Now time to enforce.
No, wait. All right, so we took this dude, but we were working for somebody, man. He's got the rocks.
Who?
He said his name was Jack. That's it. We met at the Fancy Fox.
Where can we find this Jack?
Hey, Bo. Oh, Bo.
Just don't forget. Come back.
Yeah, right. Yeah?
Do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, wait a minute. This guy's from the organization.
He's with the dude we ripped off yesterday. I just saw them together outside.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, okay. It's just somebody about a job.
No, you were gonna tell me where we can find this Jack.
Yeah, right. Well, I never got his address, man. But I remember how to get there. Come on, my car's out back. I'll take you to him.
You know the organization is not going to like this.
Take care of him. Whoa, come on.
Gentlemen, I think maybe we could reach a compromise. My name is Alex Street. I'm an attorney at law. I have an office downtown. If you come, no!
Back off! Damn it, I'll pop the next guy who moves.
No, don't pull that gun, Stan. Don't, you'll kill another guy. Come on, man, you know if you pull that gun and start shooting up the place, the cop will be looking for us in this state, too. Don't do it. Don't do it, Stan! Why don't you carry a real gun like Sam Spade?
Who?
Well, what if they called our bluff?
Guns kill people, Al. Banana never hurt anyone.
Why, Mr. Christie?
You don't understand.
I understand you're a thief.
No. No, my wife, they've kidnapped her. They're threatening to kill her. What else could I do? After Mr. Donaldson convinced him that we had lost the diamonds, that we weren't trying to double-cross him, the kidnapper told us that he would give us another 24 hours. He's to call my place at 2. And that's the whole story.
Well, now I say we call in the police.
That won't get your diamonds back. And what's more important, it might cause Mrs. Christie's death.
And what do you suggest?
I suggest that we go along with the kidnapper's new demands. Only this time, Jetta and I will see where they lead us.
Yeah, but the only thing is, we don't have any more diamonds to make the payoff.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Milan.
Now, what is it, Dave?
I just want to tell you I'll be leaving that doctor's appointment I have this afternoon.
Who's taking your place?
Ben Tyler. Oh, is there anything new on the theft?
No, I'm afraid not.
I see. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I guess it's about time we start standing by for the phone call. You ready, Mr. Christie?
You better have a good reason for being here.
You know that dude we ripped off? Him and a friend came looking for us.
What happened?
There's no problem. We took care of it. Just that we didn't figure there'd be this kind of trouble.
I didn't make any guarantees.
Yeah, well, we want some more bread. Another 1,000 each.
We had a deal.
Yeah, well, making ourselves a new deal.
Oh. Okay, Woody. Okay. But this is it.
Come on, Bo!
Dave, what happened?
Mr. Buck's trying to shake us down.
Honey, let's leave now. We've got enough.
No.
Dave, I'm scared. What if those guys come back or go to the police?
They can't. Now, come on.
I know it's difficult, Mr. Christie, but wearing the rug out isn't going to make the phone ring any sooner.
That must be Donaldson Street.
Let him in. I'll be in there.
Did he call yet?
No. What about the diamonds?
We're close. But we did find out something very interesting. That mugging was not a mugging.
What do you mean?
Those muggers were hired by someone who knew I'd be carrying those diamonds. Who else knew that, Mr. Christie?
Just myself. And, of course, the kidnapper.
And the two of you.
Mr. Jones, what are you doing here?
He knows.
Everything?
Everything.
Hey, wait a minute. You don't think we ripped off those diamonds?
Maybe, maybe not. The important thing right now is what happens to Mrs. Christie. That's the reason Jedediah and I are taking over the case.
Over our dead bodies, you are.
Our dead bodies? Mr. Donaldson, I really think it's for the best.
I agree with you, Mr. Christie. Stan, let him have the case.
Al, he thinks we took the diamonds. If anything goes wrong, our neck's in the ringer.
Since when do we have the same neck?
There's no time to argue. We'll make a deal with you. You make the drop, we'll tail the kidnappers.
I liked it better when you wanted the whole case.
Okay, Mr. Jones, you've got a deal.
Will I tell him about the diamonds?
Ask for more time.
Hello?
You have the stones.
Yes, I'm getting them. But I want to speak to my wife first. I want to hear her voice.
Okay. We'll make it fast.
Warren.
Andrea, are you all right?
Yeah, but I'm afraid.
Now listen. You've got until 3:30. That's it.
3:30.
Have your man waiting at the phone booth on Stone Road in Topanga. And he better have the package.
At least I know she's still alive.
Hey, hold it. The tap just ran dry.
We're not thirsty. All we want is a little information.
Well, then why don't you go down to the library? It is right down the street.
They didn't have Woody March's address. The librarian said you did?
Woody March. Now, why didn't you just say so in the first place? Don't go away. Get right here.
Granny! Think of me as the big bad wolf.
Yeah. Well, he's got a place. He's got a room right down the street. It's 219 South Dwyer.
Woody, it hurts, Woody. It feels like I'm all burning up inside.
Just hang in there, Bo. I'm gonna go get a doctor. Just hold on.
Okay, Woody.
I thought I grew up in the wrong neighborhood.
This is his room.
Maybe he's not home.
Move over.
Woody, is that you? Is that you? Woody? Is that you?
What is it, Bo?
Oh. You got the doctor. Thanks. You really a pal?
Yes.
Did Betty ever finish checking them out?
Oh, yeah, she sure did. Donaldson comes from an old-line Philadelphia family, 3 generations of bankers. After Vietnam, he came out here to go to school, and then he supported himself by working in a security agency, and then opened an office of his own.
What about Street?
Well, now he made it the hard way. Pumped gas, and he washed dishes, and still graduated at the top of his class in law school. He met Donaldson in Vietnam, and they've been friends ever since.
I think I've been a little hard on him.
Barnaby is finished.
Do you read me, Mr. Jones?
Loud and clear.
Do you know the San Remo Bridge?
About a quarter-mile north of here.
I'm to throw the package over the side at the 7th arch and keep on driving.
You wait here till I call you, then take off.
Right.
There's a dirt road just before we get to the bridge. We'll get off on that.
I'll be right behind you.
Donaldson, take off. Jedediah, the road's about 100 yards ahead. You turn right, I'll turn left.
Got it, Barnaby.
I don't see anything suspicious.
I'm approaching the bridge now. Bombs away.
Got him covered, Barnaby.
It's all yours.
You see anyone else around?
Not even a squirrel.
What took you so long?
He just showed up with the doctor.
Hey, look, what do you guys want from me, huh?
First, my watch. Now you're gonna show us where Jack lives.
You know, I'd really love to, but I don't know where he lives.
Al, he says he doesn't know where Jack lives. Do you believe him?
Look at his eyes. No, I don't believe him.
My friend doesn't believe you, and he's a lawyer. You know something? I don't believe you either, and I'm just plain mean. Let's go. Get in.
Looks like just a dry run, Barnaby.
Hold it. There's a car turning onto the riverbed.
Barnaby, that's David Harmon.
Let's go, Jedediah.
Where's the cabin? And just go down that wash, and it's right over there.
Remember?
Looks deserted.
You go that way. It's only me. You're kidding. Did you see anything? No. Not a thing. Not a soul. You must still be out picking up the diamonds. Yeah. Come on.
Her pulse is steady. Maybe she's been drugged. Start looking for the other diamonds.
What?
Mrs. Christie, don't be afraid. I'm Stan Donaldson. That's Al Street, and we're working for your husband.
Oh, thank God you're here.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just a little weak.
Maybe better try walking around a little bit.
Oh,
There you go. You okay?
yeah.
I found them! We're off the hook, pal.
Don't make any sudden moves. Get the diamonds, baby.
Baby? Did you hear that, Al?
Yeah, I heard. I heard.
Mrs. Christie, how could you do this to that nice little husband of yours?
Let's put him up. Come on, get him up. That's it. Nice and easy.
We don't carry guns.
Yeah, and you shouldn't either.
Wait here.
Well, what about them?
Don't worry. They won't ever be found. Let's go.
Move!
All right. Over to those trees.
You know, you got us into this, Stan. He's gonna get us out there and kill us, man. It's gonna be goodbye, sweet world.
Well, Al, what do you want me to do? He's holding the gun.
Yeah, I know it. I know it, and I ain't going. I ain't going.
Get up.
No, sir. No, sir, I'm not going.
All right. And you're gonna get him right here.
Al, he's not kidding. He's gonna kill you right here.
Yeah? Yeah, well, if he gets me over there, he's gonna kill me over there. Well, he might as well kill me over here. What difference does it make?
Quit wasting time. Now get him over there.
Al, I'm gonna have to drag you.
That's it, Herman. At this distance, I never miss.
Say, man, why don't you quit this and go back into the banking business with your family?
What? And give up all this?
Anyone in?
You've got a client.
I'll be right there.
Get a retainer.
I'm going to be in court most of next week, but I'll see if I can spare some time.
Oh, hey, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Street, this is my daughter-in-law, Betty Jones, Alexander Street.
Hello.
And Stanley Donaldson.
Well, I certainly have been looking forward to meeting you two. I've heard a lot about you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Mr. Jones, JR, nice of you to drop by.
Well, actually, we came by to give you this check.
Check?
It's from California Meridian. It's your share of the reward for the recovery of the diamonds.
Reward?
There's just one problem. It's made out to both of you, and I told them you were not partners.
Who said we weren't partners?
Stan, where did Mr. Jones get that idea?
It beats me. Where did you get that idea, Mr. Jones?
Can't imagine. Good luck to you.
Thank you, and I hope we see each other again.
You know, Barnaby, looking at this office, I got an idea. You know, after I graduate law school, we can take your office, put up a partition like this, Make 2 offices, you know, right?
Great idea, JR. I could add curtains, throw pillows.
Plants, right?
It would be like your office in here and mine out there.
Right.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Bye-bye, fellas.
Much later.